Travelers and naturalists have always been fascinated by rainforests. Mysterious, exuberant, humid, teeming with life. They are the last unexplored territory, the last outpost of paradise. Even today, there are millions of plants and animals in the rainforest that remain unknown to us. Yet scientists believe that this is the most fertile, varied, and surprising ecosystem on the planet. But what is so special about the rainforest? What makes it so fertile, diverse, and extraordinary? The answer is often water. Water is a constant in rainforests. Humidity is always provided by torrential rains, storms, mist, or fog. Water is constantly in circulation, which creates particularly fertile conditions for life. Most terrestrial species live in rainforests. The rainforests of Costa Rica, which are similar in size to Switzerland, contain 5% of the biodiversity of the entire planet. The jungle works like a giant water pump supplied with solar energy. Roots extract water from the ground and release it into the atmosphere as vapor. In fact, more than half the water in vast jungles is returned to the atmosphere by tree leaves. But not all rainforests are the same. There are humid mountain forests, rainforests with high rainfall, and tropical jungles. In any case, it rains abundantly in all of them, and the level of humidity is always very high. The rainforest can be seen from different angles, but the most breathtaking view is from above. Trees can be over 60 meters high, their tops forming an aerial garden of colossal dimensions. This world is as much a mystery as the ocean depths. Each tree fights to expose its leaves to the sun, which is why they must reach a great height that will allow them to spread their leaves and flowers and to produce fruits without being overshadowed. The result is a dense rainforest canopy, which creates an aerial world we cannot see. Animals have learned to live on the biggest branches of the trees, and many of them never touch the ground. Life at a height provides many advantages. Food is abundant, and there are few predators, although it requires some adaptation too. Mammals rely on prehensile tails, which are just as effective as the strongest arm or the firmest grip of a hand. Although many are similar, each one has chosen to live in a different way. Monkeys opted for mobility. Their movements are agile and quick, enabling them to find fruit, shoots, or foliage easily. Their way of life means they have to eat well, because they burn up a lot of energy, and plants tend not to be particularly beneficial. That's why they spend a large part of the day nibbling and scratching around for food. Sloths, on the other hand, prefer the quiet life. They, too, are perfectly suited to climbing with their strong claws. But they are incredibly slow. Their metabolism requires less energy, which means they move around very gradually, rest for long periods, and digest slowly. As a result, they only spend part of their day eating. This exotic tropical garden is full of surprises. The humidity and heat encourage an explosion of vegetation high above the ground. Innumerable plants grow on tree branches. Moss, ferns, orchids, and bromeliads cover every centimeter of bark, taking advantage of the water and sunlight. Here, the relationship between plants and animals is very intense. It is thought that approximately 20 different animal species live around a single flower. Many plants need help to reproduce. Fertilizing their flowers is a challenge that can only be overcome with the help of birds or insects. The most eye-catching ones are specifically designed to attract hummingbirds with their nectars, shapes, and colors. These delicate birds, with their dizzying wing motion, are in search of flowers with plenty of nectar to give them their energy. they swallow the nectar, they become covered in pollen and fertilize their favorite plants. Other plants work with the surrounding fauna in order to disperse their seeds, and nothing is more effective than sweet, juicy fruits in bright colors like red or orange. Their purpose is to attract sweet-toothed animals, which by eating the fruit will transport the seeds further afield. Water is also something that can be exchanged for favors. Bromeliads, heliconias, and other plants store liquid between their petals or leaves. Some can hold up to 10 liters of water. These small deposits provide food and refuge for many animals, from mosquitoes and other insects to the birds and lizards that lie in wait among the leaves. Even frogs often use them as a hideaway. The high level of rainfall during tropical storms creates intense and varied wildlife. But it also brings with it a number of problems. Many plants overcome excess water with curious mechanisms designed to drain it away. This prevents fungi from forming in abundance. The leaves are shaped like funnels, with grooves or dripping points to channel the water and prevent the cells from becoming saturated. The forest fauna has developed drainage mechanisms to provide protection from the heavy rain. During downpours, the animals disappear or take shelter among the vegetation. Sloths, which cannot escape, boast thick, spongy, waterproof hair, unlike other mammals. Their hair grows from their stomach to back and hangs like a thick mane, so that water runs off them before they get soaked. What's more, the hairs of the three-toed sloth have grooves where green algae collect. Both parties have come to a suitable arrangement. The sloth's mane provides shelter and humidity for the algae, which in return lend it a greenish tinge and camouflage it from predators. Underneath the foliage is an entirely different world. A sub-forest that is constantly in the shade. The lack of sunlight restricts plant growth, and the soil is not as rich as might be expected in such a fertile environment. This world never ceases to astonish. The soil is inhabited by discreet, elusive animals with modest habits. Many of them live in the undergrowth, looking for roots, seeds, or fallen fruit. Others live off invertebrates or eat them to supplement their diet, actively seeking them out among fallen leaves or in the fertile top layers of the soil. The smallest of these perfectly imitate decaying leaves in order to camouflage themselves. That's the best means of survival down here. In fact, large rodents such as the paca have a deceptive camouflage that helps them blend into the light and shade of the forest. Both prey and predators adopt the same tactic to conceal themselves. The most common predators are lizards and snakes. The constantly high temperatures mean there is a wide variety of reptiles who have the run of the forest. Water has another creative role to play in this setting. It is everywhere, encouraging amphibians to venture out of their rivers and pools. In these forests, frogs diversify into terrestrial or climbing species and conquer uncharted territory. The suction pads on their feet are proof that they have successfully adapted to their new way of life. Here, many frogs are commonly known as rain frogs and reproduce out of the water. Their spawn, large and sticky, sticks to the underside of the leaves, hidden from possible enemies. Inside, the tadpoles are growing fast. Far from the ponds, frogs are forced to find new ways of protecting themselves. The most striking among them have opted for nocturnal living, when they can pass by unnoticed. Others have developed special camouflage, such as the crystal frog, whose liquid appearance means that it blends in with the leaves it lives on. Others have evolved into some of the most poisonous creatures on the planet and will quickly kill animals if eaten. Their bright colors act as a warning sign and ward off any threats. However that may be, these terrestrial creatures rely on tropical water because the forest floor is dominated by storms and floods. Torrential rains wash away the soil, carrying its nutrients along with it and leaving it impoverished. But the metabolism of the forest is so quick that it wastes no time in recovering the remains of carcasses or decaying vegetation, incorporating them into the life cycle almost immediately. The rainforest is one of the planet's oldest and most stable ecosystems. Water, ever present, is the source of this miracle, drenching every nook and cranny and lubricating the powerful machinery of life.